we're going to make the adjustments on the fly. I have the advantage of the Montgomery Blue Devils bench being down below, and anytime I need a correction on the pronunciation, they can feed it to me. And we're underway as Montgomery starts off with possession, tossing it up ahead into the Arrows zone. Arrows taking it away and exiting. Played up along to the right wing side. This is Kraus with a hit on Lent. That'll dislodge the puck. And the Blue Devils pick up possession. The ice is a little slick out there right now in this early time, as this one flipped off of the glove of the goaltender on Montgomery's side onto the back side of the net. And so we anticipate that the first handful of minutes on the ice will be a little bit of getting familiar with the way that the ice is playing, how it skates, how the puck moves along it, and how each team is matching up against one another. Once we get through a full complement of line changes, the heart rate's up, and an idea of what the ice is doing out there, we'll start to see each team's identity start to settle in. Played down below the net. Sent out towards the far side half boards. Played back below, but no help behind as the Arrows pick up possession. And this is blown dead. We'll see what this call is here. Okay, so we're going to have a face-off on the far side dot outside the Montgomery zone. Played out to the left wing side. This early starting play will be chaotic, as possessions, I expect, will trade back and forth very quickly. These are 3 15-minute periods for regulation. Montgomery through the neutral zone. Vogel with it on the near side. Sends it up ahead. Metzler unable to catch a piece of it as it goes down to the end boards alongside the net. When we get a chance, we're going to see if we can get some line charts sent up to us. In case that might give us some advantage. Shot on net. Secured easily. Montgomery, what's the last name of the goaltender? What? Rosenstock. Thank you. That was Rosenstock on the initial save there. Sometimes you just got to go direct to the source. It's amazing how not all teams know the pronunciations of one another's players. Rosenstock in net, on guard, glove up. And now Montgomery looking to exit the zone. From the near side, big hit up on the right wing side. Wrister towards the net, and that is covered up and secured. Now, when I get a close-up on the backside of the Arrows goaltender, I'll read the back of his sweater and find out who is starting in the net. I'll fill you in as soon as that information gets to me. Thank you so much. Played up into the far side corner. Flung around the dashers. Vogel picking it up at the half board, sends it down deep. Played behind the net. Trading possession below the goal line as the Arrows come up with it. An angled pass, a little too much heat on that. And that'll go down for icing. 12-12 remaining, first period action. We're scoreless here at Breakaway Rink 2. Shout out to my cameraman, Jim, bringing the view to us. And doing some other extra stuff too. Administrative, shall we say. From the left wing side, Arrows entering into the offensive zone with one going in looking for a rebound. That was Johnson through the slot looking for something to come off. A little bit of crumbs from the shot, but nothing doing as Rosenstock holds it in the glove. We'll see another line change. Again, as we said, as soon as we cycle through the full bench, we'll start to see players settling in. The heart rate gets pumped up. They get into focus. They're sharper. They start identifying some of the tendencies of the opponent. And then advantages and disadvantages start to show themselves. As this one is offsides, we'll come outside into neutral ice for a face-off. Played into the Arrow zone as they work it out to neutral ice. Vogel tossing it ahead. Metzler getting out of the zone just in time to avoid another offsides. And he goes in for the steal. Sends it up to the point. Shot, and that one goes lasering off wide. Along to the near side. From the half boards up to Metzler. Up at the point. Sending it down to the face-off circle. Vogel with it. Sneaking in with a toe drag move. And down behind the net as Montgomery starting to show their identity. Feisty and focused. Arrows come up with a loose puck. As Montgomery trying to make some quick changes. The Arrows need a breather as well, so they dump it in, and that'll give them some coverage. Nice angle pass up past the blue line. And we got a penalty. First infraction of the game. And, well, if you only catch just the blink of that last action, as we see a hooking penalty being indicated by the official. And Agavino will go to the box. Serve the infraction. It was a hooking penalty for those of you keeping score. If you are watching on Hockey TV and you see that bookmark pad on the side of the screen when you're not in full screen mode, you can go ahead and mark the penalty. There are also generic bookmarks, so if there isn't a button that suits what you want to mark, just hit the generic bookmark. Okay, so we have a double minor as I'm catching that from down below at the scorer's table. Double minor, so there's going to be a 3-minute advantage here. Montgomery going to the power play, facing off in the offensive zone. They'll be skating 5-on-4. We'll get a look up at that scoreboard pretty soon as you see it marked as 3 minutes. On Ottavino. Played down below the net. And this just as Montgomery was starting to set up. And there you go. Power play goal. 11 seconds into the power play. Make that 12 seconds into the power play. Taking advantage. And Montgomery with the icebreaker. 10:32 remaining in the first period. Montgomery goes up 1-0. For those of you out in the interwebs, go ahead and mark it. All right, we got a hockey game. And so that will scrub the first of the double minor, which leaves just 1:30 on the remainder of that double minor. So you got a lot of action, and it looks like we got a, is this an offsides on the Arrows? And so for the next 86 seconds, Montgomery Blue Devils with an opportunity to try to establish a greater lead. We're waiting for the scoreboard to reflect that goal. Just outside of 10 minutes remaining first period action. This one shot up into the net, and that'll be blown dead as we see some changes being made out on the ice. Polini and Algazzini heading in for the Arrows. We see Metzler and Jasic and Castle and Vogel. And is that McNellis? We'll confirm that in just a moment. From the right point to the left point, Castle out to the right wing, shot from the circle and held on to. Who have I got in net for Arrows? Can I get a goaltender name for the Arrows?
The Arrows?
Last name?
Fraglia and Hubert.
What number is Hubert?
59. The other one's
21
21.
is Fraglia?
21 is
Braglia. Thank you so much. All right, Braglia in the net for the Arrows. Just in case you were wondering, as he's been in there fending off a little bit of pressure during this penalty kill. 24 seconds remaining on that penalty kill. We want to give him some credit for standing in and keeping the puck out of the net. And that's Braglia with a save right there. As the Arrows trying to kill off the last bit of this double minor. Shot redirected through the slot, and that one slips past. And that right there is another power play goal. Montgomery not wasting any opportunity on that double minor, which put 3 minutes up on the board. They scored 12 seconds into the first power play. That wiped off the rest of the time on the double minor, gave them 1:30 for the second half. And now with 9:06 remaining first period action, it is 2-0. I know that you saw on the screen 1-0, but that's just because the scorekeeper is pretty busy getting everything scrubbed away as far as the penalty and all of that, and we'll see that updated in just a moment. If you're watching on Hockey TV, go ahead and mark that moment in your video. Played from the end boards as the Arrows now trying to get a little advantage on their side. As the ice starts to get a little bit easier to skate on and more predictable. It's been chewed up a little bit now. Played along the far side half boards. Held up at the left point. And sent down low. We'll see a substitution away from the frame here for the Arrows as they get fresh legs. Zeller with a big hit coming in to dislodge the puck. And that is going to be called straight off the bench. Head on. And that is called for roughing 2 minutes. A little guidance from the official advising the young skater, you can't come flying off the bench like that. And so note to self and note to the players out there who might review this stuff, if the family downloads this, if the team downloads, go ahead and review and you see that penalty. You can mark that penalty, by the way, and then you can go back and replay it and see exactly where it went wrong. As we continue play, just outside of 8 minutes remaining, Kraus sitting up above the faceoff circle, waiting for the loose puck, trying to protect anything getting towards the neutral zone as they extend the offensive attack. Play down into the near side corner. Kraus on the near side, pressured as he hands it off into the middle of the circle. Shot at close range, that's blocked by the defense. This one held in by Grossman. Grossman flies it over to the right wing side. A little too much pepper on that one. Played around to the near side. Kraus from the point. Fending off the defender. From point to point. Here's Grossman losing the handle momentarily. Spins around, hands it off to the left side. And this one slips out to neutral ice. Kraus will send it up ahead after the team has exited. And Wandel coming off of the ice to get a breather. Thayer and Skata will come off as well. Fresh skates for the Blue Devils. And Keene forcing his way down low in the offensive zone. Twomey retreating into the defensive zone. As we see Dalton, the center, stepping into the slot, battling around, and a loose puck put in. And Montgomery just having a game of it in this first period as the loose puck gets out towards the side doorstep on the rebound, bouncing around, picked up and shoved in. And so with 6:36 remaining first period action, Montgomery with a little bit of insurance, leading 3-0. Mark it. A timeout here, apparently by the Arrows. And that's a smart timeout as you want to stem the flow here. Momentum going too much in the direction of the Blue Devils, and so the Arrows gathered over there trying to figure out how they can shore up their assignments, as something has been a little bit weak in their configurations and execution, and trying to figure out how to counteract this aggressive Montgomery team. 6:36 remaining first period action, and a charged up Blue Devils team. I guess now is a good time for me to go ahead and thank our sponsors: Black Bear Sports Group, Super Series AAA, Iceberg, Hockey TV, Amateur Hockey Report, and Vivero. Sponsoring the Eastern Exposure Series, an exciting weekend around the greater Boston area. Thank you so much to those sponsors. My name's Glenn Burnett with the play-by-play and color commentary. You're watching Hockey TV. As we resume action from the center dot, see what kind of changes we see on the ice. And the Blue Devils away from the play with a hit. Metzler is going to the penalty box, well away from where the play was. And this is kind of guidance as part of developing the players here in terms of the officials being able to keep things under control. It can get a little bit chaotic here. We had upwards of 8 or 9 penalties in the first period in Attleboro yesterday. That's a good coaching lesson here coming from the official. He's just communicating with the coach, indicating, hey, you know what? We want to spare these players any injuries, and when it is not part of the play, there's no need to line somebody up and hit them. So a good opportunity there. Refreshing to see that kind of exchange between coach and official. And generally speaking, in the upper levels, you won't get to see that exchange because those messages have already been passed by. It's just going to be called the way that it is. And out in front, as the Arrows waiting for the signal, and this is blown dead. There is no goal indicated here. The Arrows getting about as good a scoring opportunity right there, as Rosenstock under a lot of pressure, losing the paddle. Civil. That's how I would describe that last exchange there. Civil. Played around the Dashers out to the left side point. Arrows. Zeller sends it down low. From low around. And we got some extra action with Vogel trying to protect the crease. Now, Vogel's one of the bigger players. And so he makes his presence known. And that center, when he's on defense protecting that crease area, he doesn't want the opponent anywhere near his goaltender. Here's Zeller, handing it off to the left side. Johnson on the left side takes it down low. backhandled around behind the net. Malor around the edge. Behind the net once again. A little stick handling action there. Malor wide open in the point area. He's going to protect right now. Holds the line. That one will remain on sides until it comes out to neutral ice. Thayer overskating the puck. And here comes Johnson with 3 poke checks on hand. Down low, trying to get that puck. As Soderlund up at the point. And Gazzini. Loose puck comes out. Agavino, who served a penalty earlier with a shot. Out across the low slot, nobody home. Looking for the redirect there. Rosenstock with a save. Soderlund with a long windup. This one skidding across the face-off circle. And now tossed the length of the ice. And that'll go down for icing. Just a few inches off from no icing. As Braglia watched it go right by the side of the cage. 4:03 remaining, first period action. 3-0 lead for Montgomery Blue Devils. Played from the low slot. The blind shot kept out by Rosenstock. And now here comes Metzler from the left side. Handed off to Kraus. Kraus with an off speed. That one took a little bit of a bender. Somewhat of a 12-6 curve, if you will, if you catch the reference. And it looked like Braglia, and even I expected that to be a laser bit of a shot for as much windup as there was, but there was a lot of a changeup to it, and it ended up delayed on its way through. Braglia was all ready for it, watching it, and then it had not that much speed, bending over the top of his head and into the net. And Montgomery goes up 4-0. Big hit up along the boards as Kraus in reverse, trying to protect the oncoming puck handler. Braglia sticking the puck away, keeping a close eye on things. Played up to the far side half boards. Arrows controlling the puck, coming out of the zone. Chipped up off of the glass, trying to get into the offensive zone. Out along the right wing side. The Arrows with a little bit of speed coming up. 2-on-2 coming into the zone. Shot towards the net, deflected off the pads of the defender. Stolen puck here. Shot on net. A little looper held on to by Rosenstock. Light-spirited down below on the bench on the Montgomery side. Sounds like a little bit of water cooler talk down there. And why not? It's been a fun weekend, and they got a 4-goal lead right now. Played around to the near side. Twomey up at the point. Trying to guard the exit door. Played behind the net. Out around to the far side. Kept in as Pellini, this is the second time he's come in and picked up a pass from the opponent. We got a whistle as one of the Montgomery Blue Devils players is down on the ice and looking to be in pain. Enough pain to remove the helmet there. And we'll stand by as players will take a knee, coached up to do so when there's an injury out on the ice, with all due respect to the fallen skater. We'll generally see that from both teams. And now We see the skater rising to his feet, skating off under his own power. And so the lesson here, as sometimes for those who are less experienced from the viewer experience here, you think if someone gets knocked down like that and it's a prolonged stoppage of play, you think there's a penalty that gets attached to it, but that's not always the case. Sometimes somebody goes down and there may be a reason why they go down. And in this case, the official suggested to the players in the bench, don't keep your head down, keep your head up. He says that the reason why he ended up going down was because he didn't see what was happening. And that happens when your head is down. In many sports, they will use the phrase, keep your head on a swivel. And in this case, it's keep your head up. Feeding into the low slot. Loose puck swept away, but Kraus, a little bit too much of a wind-up on that as he had a wide open look at the net. As Braglia had lost his paddle, and we got a holding call here, and it looks like did we send one to the box? Doesn't. Who is that? Is that Alarm or Dave? Dave? I'll text him. Tell him everything's good.
I'm on the camera. What do you want to talk to me?
All right, as we resume play, minute 24 remaining. There's a penalty right now, and it looks like we had a holding penalty called out there, and so the Arrows go back on the penalty kill. 1:08 remaining, first period action. And we get a cross check. Okay. Well, we'll get a lot of action like this in the lower levels. And until they know what one action's repercussions are, it cannot get impressed on them enough. And so we've got 4-on-4 on the ice. So a little bit of skating and passing and shooting space. As Polini, once again, if there is a loose puck around, and that one goes through, breaking the ice for the Arrows on the 4-on-4. And indirectly credit Polini for getting in the passing lanes. This is a few times that I have seen him end up where there is a loose puck from point to point on the passes as they get onto the scoreboard with 52 seconds remaining in period one. And that will be encouraging. For those of you watching on Hockey TV, go ahead and mark it. Played up into the Arrows zone as Montgomery comes in hard charging. Grossman holding the line, sends it down. Ingus down low to pick it up. Don't think that the Blue Devils are going to rest on their laurels. Everybody knows 4 goals is not enough to feel secure, especially when you've got 2 periods of play left to go. And even less secure now that the Arrows are on the board. Grossman on the left point, wide open on that weak side of the play, down to the half boards on the right side. But we can see that there's an open opportunity for Grossman if the puck finds its way to the weak side of the play. And that'll do it for period number 1. And so at the end of 1, Montgomery leading 4-1. We'll take a brief intermission before we go into period number 2 from Breakaway Rink 2 in Tewksbury, Massachusetts. You're watching the Eastern Exposure Series. We'll be right back. I didn't do it yet. Alrighty, folks, get ready for second period action as we close out the intermission. Goaltenders will trade nets as we enter the second period. This the period of the long change. Goalies are ready, officials are ready. We're still skating 4-on-4 for just a couple of seconds. For those of you just joining in, especially if you're scouting what's happening here and you're not familiar with the teams, let me get you up to speed. Skating in the black sweaters with the white trim, those are the Arrows hockey team. And in the white sweaters with a big M on the front, the deep blue and goldenrod yellow, that's the Montgomery Blue Devils. They are leading 4-1 as we're about to go to full strength on both sides. This is in the level of what you would call a U14 class. And so we've been seeing a lot of coachable lessons out here, not just from the coach to player side of things, but also the official to team side of things, as some of these penalties have to be explained and why certain things are called penalties, the dangers that might be inherent in certain plays, as the youngsters need to be protected. That helps to ensure a long hockey career, whether that is into any of the elite academies, into any of the college stuff or professional, whatever the aspirations. You want to just be a pond hockey player, you still got to be able to skate upright. And so we get a little bit of assistance from the officials in sometimes to explain why a call is made. A great advantage to have in these younger levels of hockey development. As we see some changes out on the ice for the Arrows, Zeller picks it up on the right side point. My name's Glenn Burnett with the play-by-play and color commentary. It's been so good to be here in the greater Boston area covering this Eastern Exposure Series for Hockey TV. As this is played down behind Rosenstock. Some of you out there might not be familiar with the phrase, the period of the long change, and may wonder why is it. Oh, and that one's a nice looping one. Goes across the heater. Yeah, you know what? That HVAC right there is a real good mile marker for how high you can toss a puck. That'll get a record there. How many times can somebody do that without touching that? right, let's see. Action down behind the Arrows net. And Montgomery in the defensive zone with heavy pressure coming on. Played out to neutral ice as this comes out to Malore. Played across to Johnson. Johnson chasing the bouncing puck. Isn't that what we're all doing? Played out to neutral ice. Slapped forward by Ingus as he skates into the far side corner, battling for possession. We're carrying out 3 15-minute periods. This is the second of the 3. Shot out in front, picked up by the Blue Devils. And an angle pass out to the left wing. Drop pass, just out of sync on that one. As this plays up along the near side boards. Dalton with brute force coming through 2 defenders, sends it deep into the offensive zone, and Dalton will go to try to collect up the puck. And now Barkas trying to reverse course. And the Arrows setting up the next rush. Keene into the near side corner. Loose puck out in front and still scrambling for it. And we have a signal. That is a goal. It looks like from the referee. My angle of view might be off, and that is no goal. No goal as they go ahead and pull everyone out of the scrum and see that the puck had not crossed the line. And so a close call for Montgomery. The Arrows exuberant about the possibility of that going as a goal. .10:48 remaining second period action. Just a few minutes into the period. A whole lot of excitement there. Played deep into the Arrow zone. This one comes out as Manley tries to get up ahead and grab it. The Arrows a little bit oversized by Montgomery in this shift. Played down along the near side corner. Manley calling for it from the point as he rotates over the middle. Ingus jumping in. Stealing the puck, and there's Pelini again. If there's a loose puck, 7 times out of 10, Pelini is there. And now we get Kraus with fresh skates out on the ice. On the weak side, shot through the faceoff circle, closed off by the defense. From the right wing side, roaming around the net. Castellino with a shot that goes wide to the far side. And now Montgomery out across neutral ice. Played from D to D and up ahead to Dalton. As that one's poked away. Potash with pressure, looking for the steal. Grossman sends it across to Kraus. And now Kraus once again. Harassed by Albazzini. 8:43 remaining. Second period action. Montgomery with a 4-1 lead. Castellino winning the face-off, and then it gets taken away. Played across to Vogel. Vogel in his own zone, off the boards, into neutral ice. Flung back up ahead. And Wandell with it. Wandell pitches it up ahead as Thayer chases it. Pressure in the corner, taken away. Played up towards the point. Castle tries to keep it in the zone, but it ricochets out into neutral ice. And now Arrows in on the charge. And the Arrows trying to make quick change while they're in the offensive zone. This is one of the things that you're coached up on when you are in the long change period. The best opportunity to make substitutions, as that glances across the face of Rosenstock, is to make those substitutions while you're in the offensive zone. The long change period means that when you're in the defensive zone, as you get tired and need a substitution, you've got a long way to go to get back to the bench to make the substitution. Ricochet, and that one goes in. Arrows with another one. And great heads-up play as a loose puck out in front of the net, batted into the net. And a big-time opportunity for the Arrows, and they capitalized on it. 7:26 remaining, second period action. Mark it. You're watching Hockey TV alongside the TV player. When you go into the non-full screen mode, alongside you'll see an option to bookmark things. And after consultation between the referees, they are waving off the goal. And I suppose if you are marking, and we're looking for some explanation here, there's a possibility, from what I can see here, there's a possibility it was a high stick when that puck was up in the air and it was batted out of the air. But of course, if you have a connection to the team personally, you can ask them after the game's over. My best speculation on this, and I don't place bets, but my best guess is that that came from a high stick while that puck was up above the shoulders. Shot loose out in front of the net. This is where things get a little bit off with all of that energy and excitement, celebration after that last exchange regarding that goal or not goal. And now for it to be taken away as it wasn't legitimate, that's a tough one to get over. Agavino coming out onto the ice along with Malor. What were we talking about? Hockey? All right. We're back to it. 7:13 remaining. Second period action. And it looks like Braglia is now out of the net. And so I'm going to do my best to get information from the scorer's table. All right, so that's Hubert, and I got to give a shout out on Hockey TV to our scorekeeper for providing me with some very valuable information. As Braglia came out of the net after the period, or after perhaps the halfway mark of the game, and Hubert is now in the net for the Arrows. And Yee up ahead, trying to get through a very crowded defense. Played out to Castle. Castle will wind up, and he gives that little half wrister, taking a little bit off, and it's broken up. Arrows with a bouncing puck out in front. The Arrows may have had that goal wiped off, but that should not discourage them, as they were in a perfect opportunity. They will get other opportunities so long as they continue to persist. It's just a matter of time. If you can shape up your forecheck, if you can get some spacing, some cycling, and if you get further in sync with one another, that bouncing puck will find its way. As this one is lifted up towards the blue line, finally making its way into neutral ice, and Zeller on the left wing side. He draws back and throws a laser off the glass behind the net. As this is tied up along the boards, sent deep into the Montgomery zone. Castellino battling for it. And this is tossed down the ice, not far enough for icing. A bit of a stretch pass, but it took a little bit too long to get up there. This ice has been chewed up quite a bit, causing a little more friction than earlier. Zeller with it. Tossed up ahead, Johnson on sides, entering the zone. As a stick gets tangled up. And we get a hooking call that will go against the Arrows. Quite the terminology being cast out on the ice from some of these players. Is that official hockey glossary terms? We do have a good time around here, rinkside and on the ice. Right now, the Arrows looking for something to fall their way as they skate short-handed, forcing their way up, shot, and that one rebound out in front. And a favorable bounce for Montgomery as they're able to come up with the rebound. Zeller with a good body check there. Played into neutral ice. Castle handing it off, and then tossed back to Castle. Shot on net and gloved by Hubert. .406 remaining, second period action. Montgomery Blue Devils leading 4-1. Arrows feisty and trying to get another one on the board. Keene. Manley getting it off the stick down to the face-off circle. 30 seconds remaining in the Montgomery power play. This one skipping down at the low side, and that one goes in. Power play goal for Montgomery. An unfortunate bounce just before the crease. Comes up, bounces out funnily, and the rebound batted in. Montgomery putting a stamp on this game here. 3:36 remaining, second period action. If you're watching Hockey TV, go ahead to the marker and mark it. Bookmark a goal for. If you're using this for training purposes on the trailing side, mark it as a goal against. And now battling up by the blue line. Some things to follow here in case you're unaware of some of the rules when it comes to the margin of lead. We're getting near that threshold. A 5-goal lead goes to running time. And interestingly, if it gets cinched down to 3, correct me if I'm wrong, but if it gets cinched down to 3, even during running time, they'll go back to normal time. Just to make sure there's some quality hockey being played out on the ice as Agavino for the Arrows stepping into the face-off circle. Shot in on net. That one loops over Rosenstock. As that's frozen up against the bottom of the boards, finally worked out. But no easy exit here, as neither team getting an advantage, pulling that one out. And a lazy pass there. Shot, could not get that off the stick. Back up to the boards once again. They're at full strength out there. 5-on-5 on the ice. Montgomery coming up ahead, 2-on-3. As that one is taken away easily. Looking for the stretch. As this one goes off the stick of Agavino. Thrown out, and Agavino with a great reaction there. Rosenstock had sent that away and didn't realize that Agavino could react so quickly. Zeller poised at the point, trying to deny the exit, but Montgomery still getting out. And so we get a stoppage of play, 5-1 right now. That is the score. Montgomery leading. Minute 48 remaining, second period action. As we get some personnel changes ahead of the face-off outside the Montgomery zone on the far side dot. Jasic out to the point from the left side. Shot, rebound. Out in front off the deflection with a wide open weak side of the net, but could not get it on target. It went wide. And that right there would have been devastating. Manley with it in his own zone. Pursued by Dalton. Sends this one out. They will not call icing on it. Johnson in the middle. As that's tossed up high. Polini with a little touch pass. Polini waiting for Johnson to come out of the zone as Johnson a little bit sore in that play. He'll come off for Alguazini. Alguazini out onto the ice as Polini picks up the wandering puck. Zeller. Tossed up to the half boards. Down to about a half minute remaining. Let's see if the Arrows have another attack on them. Loose puck picked up by Zeller. Zeller with a wrister. Well, that went high. And while that puck went high, Rosenstock went low. As that one had a lot of mustard on it. .20 seconds left in the period. Keene for the Arrows, awaiting the faceoff. And Alguazini trying to get it to a shooter. And he's being hemmed in the corner. As we get a whistle there from the near side, and Blue Devil being skated to the roughing on Montgomery. And there you have it, 7.4 seconds. What can be done in 7.4 seconds? Plenty of things. You could like, you could comment, you could subscribe. You can drop a puck, you can shoot a puck, and you can score a puck, all in 7.4 seconds. Actually, in my experience, the shortest time from puck drop to shot to goal is 2.8 seconds. Drop, shoot, goal. 2.8. I'm sure there are ones that are on the books that are much less time than that. I think probably maybe 1.8 seconds is enough time to get that off. I'm not sure what the shortest period of time is that can be done. I know in basketball there's usually some threshold where you can't get a shot off in certain such second and tenths of a second or something like that. And that's usually an indicator of whether or not you can get a shot off and whether or not you're going to try to get a shot off. But here, plenty of time. As we see 3 minutes going up on the board for the penalty. This was a roughing penalty. And it looks like we've got a double minor put on for that. And so this is a benefit to the Arrows right now to the extent that nobody likes to have penalties divided across periods. So these 7.4 seconds, here's an opportunity to throw a shot on net, but the better part of those 2 1.5 minute minors will be left over into the third period. All right, so let's go ahead and get an update on that. That is not a double minor. That is a minute and a half that will be posted. Either way, the better part of that penalty will be left over for the third period. It's a whole lot better than having just 2/3 of a penalty worth of time and then carrying over a very insignificant remainder into the next period. In particular, nobody likes it when it happens at the end of regulation. What good is a minute and a half if you only have 45 seconds left in game time, right? All right, ready to resume action. Face off, Dalton trying to get the shot off. 4 seconds left, out into the corner, and that should wrap up the period. And there you go. So that'll wrap up period number 2. Montgomery leading 5-1. When we return for third period action, the Arrows will have a minute 22 of power play remaining. From Rink 2 at the Breakaway Ice Center, you're watching the Eastern Exposure Series on Hockey TV. We'll take a quick break, step outside, check the barometric pressure, and when we come back, we'll have baking tips with Martha. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back, folks. That's a false start. I think we're gonna send the buzzer to the box for this one. False start on third period. Let's go ahead and get that reset as we resume action. This is the opening of period number 3. The goaltenders are ready, and we're back to action. 1:22 remaining in the Arrows power play as Montgomery sent one to the box for a roughing call, 1:30 penalty. And now Zeller up at the point as they space out the defense. Zeller cuts through the slot, and that's an indicator for a shot to be taken so that he can look for a rebound. This one comes up to the point. Lent down to the half board, into the slot. Here's Keene, backhander, in tight quarters. Sent back to the top of the slot, shot, ricochet out towards the right side. Rosenstock with the save. From the face-off circle, 41 seconds remaining in the power play. This is sent down the ice, and this is a delayed penalty upcoming as we see Hubert come out of the net, and there we go. For those of you unfamiliar, this is a cross-checking penalty, and so with 27 seconds left in the Arrows power play, they will get another player advantage here as Hubert goes back to the net. Teams that are well aware of everything happening out on the ice know that when a delay penalty is upcoming, goaltender abandons the net, a 6th skater goes out on the attack, and they try to take advantage of no vulnerabilities during that delayed penalty time. Now they go to a 5-on-3 for 27 seconds. Heavy pressure now on Montgomery. Malor on the near side over here as Rosenstock steers that away. Malor winds up, and that's a clapper wide of the net. Zeller overskates the puck, drops it down into the faceoff circle, towards the slot. On the low angle, that slips through everybody. Malor down low, from low to high, top of the slot. Zeller creeping in, shot, rebound out in front, sent out towards the far side corner. As Montgomery feverishly trying to keep that out. Malor, now we go to 5-on-4. Yee comes in for support. To the weak side, shot! No goal. And that'll be blown dead. High drama there for a moment. 52 seconds remaining on the Arrows power play. They are now 5-on-4 as Yee had jumped out onto the ice to help out on defense. And Montgomery's young netminder down on his knees there. Looks like he might be a little bit sore, perhaps. A lot of action down there, probably about as heavy a barrage he's taken. Malor down around the corner. And here's Johnson to the backhand. Now on the side door looking for the rebound. Johnson forward, that one slaps away into the near side corner. Malor closing the exit door along the boards. As this goes around the dashers and glass, out to the point. 20 seconds remaining in this power play. A laser slaps off of the glass, comes around to Malor. He puts it towards the net, a redirect by Dalton, but that one goes to the side door. And now Keene trying to shake the defender. Loose out in front. Rosenstock diving all over the crease. Loose out in front. And no goal call here as we go back to full strength. A heavy attack during those power plays as Zeller comes in. And they want to keep that energy up in the offensive zone. Never mind that it's 5-on-5 now. They can sense something's in the water. Zeller with a short wrister. Couldn't get it fully off. And now Thayer avoiding Keene. Across the blue line into the offensive zone. And now here come the Arrows. Johnson fading towards the right, through the legs. Defensive help behind, but mishandled by Potash, and Lent was able to come up with it. They're back in on offense. Let's see if they can cycle here. Barkhouse with a wrister. Redirect from the side. And Rosenstock rolling all over the crease. Getting his money's worth today. To the backhand. And this one slipped by Hubert and Montgomery. Outlasting the attack in their defensive zone. Going in for a little bit insurance. That'll put them up 6-1. A 5-goal deficit here. We'll keep an eye on that scoreboard and that clock. Third period action, 11:17 remaining. If you're watching on Hockey TV, take a look at that bookmark section and mark it. Here's Metzler. Angled across, taking the long way down the ice. Around to the near side, swatted back behind the net, looking for a feed to the low slot. Kraus calling for it, gets it. Long windup, comes off a boot. Shot from Grossman goes wide of the net. On the side step, and that's blown dead. As we see Hubert getting to his feet. 10:37. That right there is called a running clock. Play has been blown dead for the stoppage, but the clock does not stop. And now, if I understand correctly, if that 5-goal margin shrinks down to 3 for the sake of good competition, we'll go back to regular clock. The only way to know for sure is if we get to that circumstance. My name's Glenn Burnett with the play-by-play and color commentary. It's been great following all of this Eastern Exposure Series hockey action in the greater Boston area. Nothing like a road trip for some good hockey action. Shout out to all the production people who have been a part of this enjoyable weekend for me. Thanks to the steady hands of Jim on the camera. And everybody else helping out here in Tewksbury and across that Hockey TV production family. You guys have welcomed me so very nicely. 9.5 to go as the clock continues. Of course, some of you who are watching from the fan side of things will recognize when you have a penalty-laden second period, it feels like forever to get through the period. When you go to a running clock, it feels like only yesterday that the period started. Montgomery with the puck in their own zone. With very good disciplined hockey in terms of skill set, skating, handling, and formations, movement on display from this young team. I'm going to give a shout out to the audience members out there. Many of them through the weekend accommodating with names and pronunciations, towns of origin, etc. That adds to the color of the game. In this particular rink side, a shout out to the nearby bench, which has accommodated me with names on their players when it's very difficult for me to see them. And if I don't have a roster sheet, I don't have that extra advantage. Good times. We're looking at 5-on-4 for the Arrows once again. Looking to close the gap. They need 2 more if they want to stall that clock down a little bit. Metzler on the left side, getting past the defense, but poke checked away. Shot on the turnaround. And as we get a change on the ice ahead of the face-off, quick shout out to the sponsors: Black Bear Sports Group, Super Series AAA, Iceberg, Hockey TV, Amateur Hockey Report, and Verbero. Always good to have sponsors on these events. Makes things a little bit easier to get the resources in place. Here's Johnson, busting through. Brute force into the offensive zone. Lent looking for the loose puck. Polini with a shot, ricocheted out in front, loose on the backdoor side. And a close call there with 37 seconds left in their power play. Credit to these Arrows continuing to put full energy out on the ice, battling for it. Johnson, this one rising up into the glass. Played back to Malor as he sends it down to Lent. Lent around the corner. Picked up by Montgomery. Soderlund trying to get it off the stick. Having some challenges there as Thayer comes up and a collision into his own teammate. A body will often dislodge a puck. Here's Grossman being pestered. Soderlund up at the point, staying alert. Every angle counts here. Every fraction of a second counts here. Every opportunity counts here. As Montgomery bearing down from the right side. That one off of the dashers behind the net. Nearing 5 minutes remaining in regulation. Here's Zeller. Goes to the inside, hands it off. To the backhand and slips it through the 5-hole. And yes, the Arrows able to come up with one. Rosenstock anticipating that the Arrows skater, we'll see who exactly got that, anticipating that he would go to the backhand fully, and he didn't. He released it about halfway, and that one slipped. Sort of taking a little bit off of that shot. So the coach is challenging, the Arrows coach is challenging that the clock should be stopping after the second goal goes in. Okay, so clarification being made with the coach over there, and he was under the impression that if it were less than 5-goal margin, and this is where things get a little bit complicated, he thought that if it went under 5 as a margin that it would be regular clock. But as we had discussed, and as the scorekeeper was confirming with the coach, it's got to go down to 3. That's the key thing there. It's not that it goes below a certain threshold. It has to get down to a certain margin, specifically 3-goal margin, for them to say, okay, this is still a game. Johnson. What this really does is, as the time becomes more of a pressure, if the team that's trailing by such a deficit is actually focusing in and getting more effective play out on the ice, and you know, this is theoretical from my side, so this may not be how it's explained, but if the competition is sharp enough to get down to 3, then yes, maybe there is a game, and maybe that team that had been trailing for so long might learn, don't let it get that far out of hand, because you will not always be able to win out once you get to a 5-goal deficit. Those are very difficult odds to overcome. And so kudos to the Arrows for sure for making that goal work. 2:48 remaining, third period action, down by 4. If they can get one more, and maybe this is a good time to pull the goaltender, get another attacker out there, and cinch it down to 3. You can sort of slow the clock if you can just get that one more goal. This is situational hockey here. For those of you who watch pro hockey, by the way, some of these things are so nuanced that you don't even need to have these explanations. You understand this will happen if this happens. And generally speaking, a lot of that stuff is predictable. But here in these younger ranges, it gets a little bit unpredictable. And it's not made any easier with some of the things that can be a little bit complicated, trying to keep track of that. But these are in the rule books. I have to give a thanks to Ashley over in Attleboro for bringing this to my attention. She was helping out with the production, and she brought this proactively as that one shot deflected away from Rosenstock. It's kind of nice when somebody on the team hands that over to us, because the more information we have to be able to speak on, the better we can pass that along to our audience. And that one stopped by Hubert, trying to hold on to it as we get down to 76 seconds remaining in regulation. And we got a penalty called here. Montgomery will send one to the box, it appears. I hope I've been delivering this information to you in a reasonable manner, whichever team you're supporting. And we're down to half a minute remaining. Played around the boards to the half side. Polini across to Algazzini. Algazzini trying to force the defense off the puck. 10 seconds left as we wind this down. Very exciting stuff. You can hear it in my voice, can't you? There was a flurry of action. And the pressure does go up as that clock continues to wind down. We hear the buzzer, and that will close out regulation. An exciting game. Congratulations to Montgomery Blue Devils for carrying it across the wire. And a shout out to the Arrows team as well. And that right there is your final score, 6-2 Montgomery, as both teams will gather at the center stripe. Goalies first for the handshake line. Good game. Good game. Safe travels, good meals, and good luck. What a great day to be a hockey player. What a great day to play hockey. And so at the end of this one, we'll go ahead and clear the ice and reset for one more as part of this Eastern Exposure Series. The last one for me today. It's the 2:50 p.m. drop on Breakaway 2, the 07-95 Giants versus the Boston Junior Eagles. These are two teams that I have seen up north in Lake Placid before. It should be a fun one. My name's Glenn Burnett with the play-by-play and color commentary. I welcome you back for the next one. For now, you're watching Hockey TV. We'll be right back.